Beginning of this film, my character is in Europe. He's sort of, wheeling and dealing the ladies, kind of living a very, very single, very private life. So all of his relationships are really superficial, except for probably with his boss, and he's getting ready to kill someone, and going through that sort of preparation process of killing someone when he meets the girl that's not going to allow him to just be superficial. It was about a guy with a complicated secret and his wife who has these overbearing parents, and it was about their ability to coexist. And I thought that was an interesting tale to tell. And suddenly the script felt relatable, because you read something about an assassin or a guy that does this kind of thing for a living, and you can connect to it to some degree. But when you read it in the context of, okay, now here's a normal, grounded, everyday person, and this is a relationship movie about two people who are in love and one of them has a secret, everyone can relate to that. Katherine Heigl plays the character of Jen. I think that the one essence of Katherine Heigl that is essential to the character is Katherine has a childlike sense of innocence. Personally, like she has, it's this quality of surprise. Of the entire world, surprise and awe of the world that is around her, and I think that mixed with a slight sense of insecurity that she brings to the character, where the character's not 100% sure about her thing, but she's very smart and she knows what's going on. It makes a toxic, intoxicating mix. On screen, the idea of having someone that could potentially physically dominate you felt like a valuable essence to us. So we were thinking about, like, all right, well, like, who's a bigger guy who's got like an intimidating thing but doesn't have to try to be intimidating? And we went through some names of people, and I was watching a thing on CNN, I think, and Tom was talking about. Tom Selleck was on, and he was talking about the work he was doing with the veterans. And I went, wait a second. This guy was like a Marine. He's like a pretty hard dude. Like, if he was my father-in-law, I would definitely have to, like, sort of step back and go, yes, sir. Rob Riggle plays Henry, and who is my best friend. And Rob's just a plain old, just simply funny. Like, just simply up and down at the top of the button. There's some people that have the ability to say anything and make it sound funny. And Rob can do that. I sat down and I met with him, and we vibed on the material, and we vibed on the funny, on the story, on the style, on the look, and everything that Rob said was sort of what I had in my head when I read it, but plus some. And he's, after we started working together, he started showing me storyboards and how he wanted to do, and I was just like, yes, 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 because he was taking the material and saying, yeah, but it's this, and I went, yes, like it's that same elevating quality that he created for 21. And then, when you're on, comedy happens on the day. And he's there for the he's always there for the comedy, and he's got a specific taste about what's funny, and he delivers it, and he makes sure that we deliver it, which I like a director that demands that you deliver. I love grappling. I was a wrestler when I was in high school, and I love that. I love mixing it up, and so the idea of doing that throughout the film. I also grew up around guns. Like, I used to pull trap at a gun club, and so I was around guns my whole youth, and I've been shooting guns since I was 7 years old. So the idea of like being able to portray that in a film sounded like fun. I've never had any formal martial arts training before I got this role. I fought a little bit, just out of survival where I grew up, and I wrestled. But this character sort of demanded a different kind of fighting style, with a military background, but an international military background. And so about 2 months before we started, I started training and just started getting myself physically, capable of doing some things. And then I went and I found a trainer in Krav Maga, and I took, a month of training in Krav Maga, and then I did a little bit of Muay Thai training, and then I did some Kylie knife fighting, which is a specific Filipino knife fighting discipline. He shot in Villefranche, and that was, I mean, it's when you see it in the film, it's pretty epic. Like you look at it and it feels like a different world, Like you see movies in the States, and whenever you see things in movies, cities, towns, places, and you're like, oh yeah, I recognize that. That's one feeling. When you see something, you're like, oh my God, like that's not part of my everyday life. It starts to feel exotic. We shot at the Eden Rock. We shot up and down the coast. Like it was just brilliant. I think the thing about this movie is that it offers a little bit of everything. I think it's action. I think it's exciting. I think it's a thriller, but I think it's also funny. And at the heart of it is a relationship. It's a relationship movie. So I think that there's sort of every array of the movies that I think people like to go see that exist in this film, and I think it'll also get your heart beating, and then maybe break it a little bit, and then put it back together.